Hello and welcome to the next live stream of our #DiscoverLC virtual online event. We're going to be here all the way till Sunday. There'll be lots of live streams and fun information all over all of our social media platforms to keep an eye out for. Now we're talking about Launchpad, which is one of our support areas and sectors of education at Leicester College. We've got a couple of people here to talk all things. If you have any question about Launchpad at all, do pop them in the comments below and we'll try to answer them during the stream. But first, let me introduce you to our team. First up, we have Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi, Ashton.
How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Not too bad.
Cool, perfect. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at Leicester College?
Okay, so I'm Rebecca. I've worked at Leicester College for about 12 years now, I think. I currently look after the Launchpad provision, which we're going to be talking about today, based at Freeman's Park campus, but I've worked at pretty much all the different campuses.
Fantastic. So you're a bit of a jack of all trades. Jack of all campuses doesn't quite.
Master of none. Yeah, that's about right, Ashton.
So the next person I want to introduce you to is Katie-Jane. Hi, Katie-Jane.
Hiya.
How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Do you want to tell us a little about yourself as well?
Yeah, so I am a key worker within the Launchpad department at Leicester College, which is mostly a support role. So I come everywhere with you. There's no escaping me. And I'm in my first year of working at Leicester College.
Fantastic, cool, thank you. So you've prepared a presentation that talks all about Launchpad and goes over everything that people will need to know in a very short amount of time. So it's quite a condensed version of it. But I'll let you get on with that. And then if you do have any questions throughout the presentation, just feel free to pop them in the comments and we'll answer them afterwards. So let me pop this up and I'll let you take it away, Rebecca.
Okay, thank you, Ashton. So we're going to explain a bit about what a Launchpad is, because you hear the term Launchpad and it doesn't really mean anything obvious to anybody. So we're going to explain a bit about what the program's made up of and what you can expect if you come to Launchpad at Leicester College. Now the next slide, please, Ashton. So what actually is Launchpad? It's a course designed for young people who want to re-engage with education. So 14 to 19-year-olds tend to come on our qualification, mainly 16 to 19 really. When we say re-engage with education, it could be perhaps you've been homeschooled for a while and want to get back into some formal education, do some exams and get some qualifications, and this is a step back into that system. It could be that you perhaps were poorly for whatever reason, had some time out of your school education, didn't finish it, and want to come back and get that all-important maths and English qualification. So it's for those who did not achieve the required grades for their next course also. So it could be you've applied to do a level 2 course in engineering or hairdressing or health and social care, but you didn't get the right grades in maths and English to get onto that course. So you'll come to us for an extra year and just get the English and maths so you can progress and move on. It can be for those who are a bit unsure of what they want to do next. So perhaps you had a plan, but because grades, your opportunities have reduced a little bit and what you wanted to go on and do, you can't now do. So you'll come with us for a year, get the maths and English like I keep on saying, but we'll also look at your personal and social development as well, to help you progress and get onto the next stage. It's also suitable if you're seeking employment, an apprenticeship or a college course, but you're not quite ready for that yet. So you'll come to us, do some studying, and then we'll help you apply for the next steps. There are no formal entry requirements, but you need to, if you've got a grade 3 or 4 in your GCSEs, Launchpad isn't for you. So it's as if you haven't achieved those grades, then you'd perhaps look to come into us, and we go from entry 3 right up to level 2 in functional skills. And I'll talk a bit more about what a functional skill is in a bit. Can I have the next slide? Okay, so where are we based? Because Leicester College is huge. We have 3 big campuses, 3 main campuses, and a lot of outreach centres as well. So we're based at Freeman's Park campus, Welford Road, really close to the city centre, so you can get buses directly to the campus. We're just opposite the Royal Infirmary. As well as the buses, we have lots of cycle lanes around there and bike lock-up, so you can secure your bike safely at the college. And Katie-Jane, she cycles to work every day. Have the next slide, please. So what do we actually offer? We offer 10 hours of English and maths per week. So that's 5 hours of English and 5 hours of maths. 1 day English, 1 day maths. You do get a break and a lunch break. It's not 5 hours solid, but it is hard work. We also do personal and social development, careers and work experience placements. We do cooking, but it's a lot more than just cooking, and I'll talk about that more in a moment. We have regular one-to-one tutors and mentoring, so there's a lot of support at Launchpad. We tend to have slightly smaller groups, And as well as a tutor, you have a key worker that follows you around, like Katie-Jane has just said when she introduced herself. And they will be with you in every single lesson and do your tutorials. And we also have mentoring support as well, and counselling support and all kinds of things we can help you with at the college. The next few slides, I'll talk in a bit more detail about what each of these elements cover. Can I have the next slide, please? So the maths and English. So you have a dedicated maths tutor and an English tutor. They are specialist tutors in those subjects. 5 hours of maths, 5 hours of English. So we go from entry level right up to functional skills level 2. So we don't do GCSE, and some people find that a little bit confusing because obviously they've just spent 5 years at school working towards GCSEs. You get to college and it's all about the functional skills. So if you haven't got that GCSE grade 3 or 4, you would come to us and we'd move on to functional skills. So it sits equivalent to a GCSE at the different rankings, if you like. So a level 2 functional skill would be the equivalent to a grade 4 GCSE, if that makes sense. But the functional skills, we try and cover much more practical things. So how you're going to use English and maths in everyday life. So when we're doing the English, we look at things such as how to write an email, how to do a blog, how to compose persuasive text, that kind of thing. And the maths, again, it's what we call functional. So it's using different skills and techniques in real life situations. And the class is tailored to your level of study as well. Can I have the next slide, please? So the personal and social development, lots of people kind of saying, well, why do we have to come and do this? It's really important because you can have the best grades, but if you don't have those personal and social skills, you're never really going to be employable. So it really is just as important. We help build your confidence in a safe environment at the college. We look at well-being and safety, so how to look after yourself physically and emotionally, what to do if you're not feeling okay. We look at communication skills and organisation and study skills. So it could be that no one's ever really sat with you and talked about, well, how do I study? How do I organise myself so I can achieve all these goals? And we will look at that on an individual basis with you. We do an awful lot of teamwork as well, because when you leave us and go on to employment or next college course, you need to be able to be good in a team and demonstrate those team working skills. Social skills encompasses everything you need. And we also attend an awful lot of cross-college events and training. We go to external events as well, see what external organisations have to offer for us. This year, before lockdown, we'd planned a 5-week course with Leicester City Football Club, all about personal and social development. And we'd also arranged an enrichment activity with a local, music studio, recording studio. And we were going to go and make some music and record some videos as well. Can I have the next slide, please? So a healthy lifestyle. So this is going back to the cooking, where I said we do cooking, but it's a lot more than just cooking. So we do domestic cooking and meal planning, and how do we budget those meals? How do we afford to feed ourselves in a nutritional way? We also work for a local charity called The Bridge, where we prepare and supply meals for the homeless. So they have an art club on a Thursday, and we provide the lunches for that club. So it's really important that we're looking at how we can look after ourselves, but also how we can look after our community around us as well. Can I have the next slide, please? Careers. So we do an awful lot at the college with careers and in Launchpad. And we also have a really good careers team in the college who come in and do lots of talks with us, and you can arrange one-to-one meetings with them to look at what you need to do. So we'll help design a plan for you, and so you can understand your progression opportunities, but what you have to do to make those progression opportunities viable for you. We look at employability skills, applying for jobs and other courses, writing a CV. We do lots of practice interviews, honing those, so when you go into that interview situation, you feel confident and you know what to expect and you're ready. Can I have the next slide, please? Work experience. So we will do 32 hours of work experience, and you receive support in finding a suitable placement. We have a whole variety of placements that we did this year, from the King Power Stadium at Leicester City Football Club, hair and beauty salons, restaurants, cafes, tradesmen, plumbers, mechanics, landscaping, a whole array of things really. We also did a lot of internal placements at the college because, like I say, we are a huge organisation with lots of different areas. So learners went and had a look at the catering, facilities, estates, campus wardens, and all sorts there. The idea of the work experience is to give you a taste of different types of workplaces, to see what you like, what you don't like. This year, some of the students were offered an apprenticeship and some gained employment from their work experience. Others gained just that valuable experience and finding about a bit more out about themselves. It's important to go on these placements because you can find out what you do like and what you definitely don't like. That's just as important. We had a few learners who were desperate to work in childcare, but after a week in a nursery changed their mind. And they changed it in time to put in the right application for next year and change their course of direction, really. So they got a lot out of it. It can also help you with references. So when you're applying for jobs in the future, you've already got that experience from that work experience placement you did with Leicester College. We also do the World of Work programme. And here we have employers come into the college and talk to the learners about businesses, lots of team building activities. And this year the students went to Escape the Room, where they had to work in a team to escape these rooms by getting clues and working together to get out in a certain amount of time. Can I have the next slide, please? We also do course reps. So each group in Launchpad, when I say group, I guess that's what you would call a class normally. And we have 4 of these, and each group votes a representative, a course rep. So the course rep can feed back the rest of the students' views of the programme to the programme area manager and to the wider college. They can earn incentive points participating in course rep events, and these are then converted into vouchers for you to spend. I think you can earn up to £100 being a course rep if you do all the activities. You get to go to meetings with the governors and the principal. So it's a really important role, and it looks great on your CV as well, and when you're applying for jobs and more courses. Can I have the next slide, please? Progression. So once you've studied with us, you've gained your maths and English, you've gone through the careers process, you've applied for the next course. There's a whole array of things you can progress onto. This year, we've got learners progressing onto level 3 qualifications, access to higher education qualifications, level 2s, level 1s, in a whole variety of subjects. Some are listed here: art and design, catering, engineering, travel and tourism. So it's a great entrance into Leicester College, if you like. You spend a year with us. We develop your personal and social development skills. We get you to where you need to be for your maths and English, and then we help you plot that route for progression and apply for the next course and continue onwards and upwards. Can I have the next slide, please? So I think that has covered everything about Launchpad, but if you have any questions, please stay online and you can ask myself and Katie-Jane any of those questions, and we'll try our best to answer them for you. Thank you.
Help if I muted my microphone, wouldn't it? Thank you for doing that for us. That was really informative, and hopefully everyone watching at home has sort of found that as useful as I know I did. I didn't know really anything about Launchpad before this stream and the last one we did, so it's really useful for me. So I imagine anyone else is also finding it just as useful. Like I say, if you have any questions, pop them in the comments and we'll answer them. I have come up with a couple to sort of pose to our experts here, just to talk a little bit more about Launchpad and what to expect if you were there. So first of all, what is a key worker? Because I know that Katie-Jane is one, and it's been mentioned before. What does that mean?
So within my role as a key worker, it's my job to first of all make sure that you're meeting your minimum requirements for being at the college. So that's your attendance, your punctuality, and all those kinds of things. So I will be chasing people that don't turn up to college. But then I also come to all your lessons with you. And the idea is that I'm kind of like in-class support, but for anyone that needs it. So it could be that you need some help with a question, or you'd want someone to clarify something for you, or maybe you're not feeling particularly confident in an area but don't want to interrupt the lesson. It just gives you another person to ask for help from in the room. So I obviously go to all your lessons with you. I then do your one-to-one tutorials with you, where we monitor your progress and we speak about what your next steps are, what you'd like to do the following year, what your targets are for that term and how we're going to meet them. But also I'm there for if you have any concerns or there's anything that you're worried about, then I would be available for you to come to me and we'd be able to sit and talk about that. And then I would be able to refer you on to other people, find out any information for you that you might require. So I'm basically there to just make sure that you have the best opportunity at succeeding on your course.
Fab, cool. So you're there to sort of, for want of a better phrase, hold your hand and guide you through the course and make sure that you're doing okay. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So this just want to sort of know, what does, like, obviously we don't know exactly, but what would a typical week look like for a student on Launchpad? Like, if they started on Monday, are they there all the way till Friday, or are they there sometimes? What does it sort of look like for them?
I can answer that. We've just done the new timetables for next year. The student would come in 3 days a week, so around 15 hours a week. They do the 1 day of maths, 1 day of English, and then the other days when we look at the PSD things. So they might have their healthy eating block, or it might be on careers, it might be their work experience block. We do an IT induction for 6 weeks as well, where they look at all the different things they need to be able to succeed at Leicester College, access all their learning materials online, that kind of thing. So it can be quite varied. Apart from the maths and English, which is always there, that's a constant, we then have different themes throughout the year to help support that individual. And we do sometimes adapt those as well to what's going on in the current world around us, really.
Cool. And with the work experience, would that be sort of taking place during that 3rd day, or is the work experience on top of those 3 days that you'd be in college?
Okay, so during one of the terms, they have a 5-week block of work experience, where 3 of those weeks are theory based, and they're learning and they're preparing for their work experience. Then they have a 2-week block where they will go out and do their hours. So they do 22 hours of work experience and 10 hours of what we call the world of work, the WOW experience that I talked about, where they went to escape the room and did team building activities. So they would know exactly when they are going out in that work experience. So if they had something they really wanted to do when they first joined us, if they had something if they had something they really wanted to do within those 2 weeks and they knew about it when they first joined college, they could start researching and looking into that work experience. They could come to us and say, look, I found this great place, this is what I want to go and do, and we will support them to have that as their work experience placement.
Fantastic. Don't worry about the kids. Well, everyone's working from home. it was a door slowly opening. I think we were all wondering what's going on. That's totally fine. Don't worry. The next question I do have is, how is the English and Maths different in Launchpad than it is sort of a typical GCSE at school level?
So I can answer that one. So typically at school, your class sizes will be a lot bigger. I think on average our class sizes kind of end up being around 16 to 18 learners in a group, so that's a lot smaller than what you used to at school. You do your maths and English in blocks, so instead of having a lesson that's an hour long and then going off to do another subject, you would do your 5 hours of maths on a Monday, or say for example, and then you do 5 hours of the other sort of maths or English on the second day. Which is a lot different. So they're these big chunks, so you get a lot of time with your tutor to really make sure that you understand what the work that's being completed in the lesson. I think it can be quite intense. Maybe the lessons are a bit more intense than at school, but people tend to enjoy the amount of time they get dedicated to the subject. It's very different to school in the sense that, the responsibility is kind of on you to attend and make sure that you're getting the most from your lessons, but obviously we will support you to make sure that you do that. But generally people find it a much more enjoyable experience.
Cool. And it's functional skills, isn't it? So the maths itself, and it's a little bit different, isn't it, in terms of the context of the maths and English?
The context of the maths and English is all focused on sort of real world scenarios, which Rebecca mentioned. So it's using your maths and English skills in real life situations that you will encounter as you go out into the real world. So that could be for maths, for example, it could be you're decorating a room and calculating how much money you would need to spend on materials. It could be calculating money and transactions in stores. English could be anything from writing a letter of complaint to maybe writing a personal statement to apply for a job. So there's a purpose to everything that you're asked to do in the maths and English, which is what people find often it makes a lot more sense because they can see what the point of them learning the skill is and how it applies to the real world.
Mm. Because it's very rare you use, triangles in everyday world. So probably it's a good thing to have that knowledge of, how much will I need for certain rooms. Cool, perfect. So if someone sort of doesn't know what they want to do in the future, don't really know what they want to do when they grow up, is that the right place to join Launchpad? Is that something you can help them with?
Yeah, it can be, because we do a lot of work on careers and we have the work experience element as well. And I guess we have smaller groups and we have the key workers there to help out as well, where they can sit and have one-to-ones with the learner and discuss, well, what do you want to do? What do you want to get out of this? Where do you want to progress to? It's better if you have a rough idea and an end goal, because like Katie-Jane has said, the 5 hours maths, 5 hours English is quite intense, it's quite hard, you're going to have to work very hard. So to have that end focus will help you get through that period. But equally, we have a lot of learners who turn up at the start, who perhaps applied to get on a health and social care course but didn't have the grades, so they came to us. They worked towards getting the grades, but as they experienced different opportunities and work experience and discussed different ideas and careers with their peers and with the staff, they've totally changed their direction.
Cool. And with sort of the progression routes, is it quite common that students finish Launchpad, then go into a BTEC or a vocational course after Launchpad?
Yes. Yeah, pretty much all our students from this year have applied for a course at Leicester College, and will be staying within the college.
Cool, perfect. And the next question I have is, what are the expectations for students when they join Launchpad?
Katie-Jane?
Yeah, I'll answer as soon as it's usually me checking. So the requirements are that you attend, first of all, is probably the most important one, and that you're punctual as well. So actually being on time to your lessons, and communicating with us if there's a reason for why that isn't happening. And also realizing that kind of turning up and sitting in the classroom isn't enough. You have to be engaged and prepared to, work hard in those lessons and make the most of it. And doing all that to make sure that you meet the college's requirements. Otherwise, you would lose your place on the course.
Cool, fantastic. So the next question I have, if there are no entry requirements for students to join the course, how do people make sure that they definitely get a place on Launchpad?
Okay, so at the moment people can apply online via the college website and just search Launchpad, and the application form will come up, or they can ring in the college and get some information. So once they've applied, our tutor team are now contacting people and doing telephone interviews. So make sure you answer the telephone or any emails we send to you to arrange that telephone interview. And then we're also organising some later interviews where people can come in and meet us face to face. So you need to apply, really, get online and apply.
Fantastic. So the quicker you do that, the better chance you're going to have of securing that place on Launchpad.
Yeah.
Cool, perfect. So why do the students need to do the work experience as part of their course?
I talked a bit about that in my presentation. It's to help give them different ideas. It's to prepare them for the world of work, to see what it also helps to self-reflect as well. So they go into it and then they need to reflect on what went well, what didn't go well, what did I expect from it, was it different in any way? I don't know, Katie-Jane, do you want to add anything that I've already said about the work experience that I've missed?
Not really. I think it's to kind of make sure that you have the kind of soft or transferable skills outside of your maths and English, that will help you once you leave college or finish another course, because ultimately having your maths and English qualification isn't the be all and end all to finding a job or getting onto another course. There are lots of other areas around that, which your work experience and your personal and social development will help you really focus on those skills as well.
Cool. Sorry, I thought I was going to sneeze then. So I was just distracted. The last sort of question I have, so if you are thinking of any questions that you currently have, do pop them in the comments because we're going to be wrapping up relatively soon. But if someone really wants to do the maths and English and they really want to get their maths and English qualification, but they don't want to do any of the other things, they don't want to do any of the careers or the cooking things, do they, they need to do those, but why do they need to do those?
It's essential that they do those things well, like Katie-Jane did. Katie-Jane said, sorry. We're looking at the whole individual, the whole person, the whole package. You can have great maths and English skills and grades, but if you can't communicate or look after yourself, or work in a team and contribute to things, then you're not really employable still. So these things are really essential that students come in, take them seriously, participate, contribute to these sessions and learn from them.
Fantastic. And what did you say the age range for students that do Launchpad are?
The majority is 16 to 19, and then we have a few 14 to 16-year-olds as well that come in.
Fantastic. So all they have to do is apply online and they can start the process of getting their place at Launchpad. Cool. Well, that's sort of all the questions I did have for you, but I just wanted to know if you had any sort of like advice for any students that aren't really sure if Launchpad is a place for them, or anything that they can start doing over the summer to sort of prepare for Launchpad.
They can go on the college website and they can put a message out to contact Launchpad if they want to have a chat with any of us to find out a bit more information, if they have specific questions that they didn't want to ask online today. So go through the college website, contact Launchpad directly through the information centre, or contact our careers team because they offer a brilliant service. So you can have a chat with them, talk about what your predicted grades are, what you want from the future, and they may then signpost you to Launchpad or to somewhere else. But yeah, the careers team and the website are great sources to go to.
Fantastic. And the careers team will be joining us this afternoon at 4:15. So if you have any careers questions, they'll be here to answer all those later on. Anything to add, Katie-Jane, before we wrap up?
No, I think that's everything.
Fantastic. Cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's been really helpful for, I'm sure, a lot of people watching. So it's been great. If there is any questions that you think of after the stream's finished, or if you're watching this back a little bit later on, do just drop us a message on Instagram or Twitter, not Twitter, or Facebook or Twitter if you want to. Comment on any of our posts, or drop us an email at info@leicestercollege.ac.uk, or go on the website and contact Launchpad directly. I'll put a link in the comments for you to click on if you want to. But that's all sort of the time we have. Again, thank you guys so much for joining us. And thank you for watching, and we'll hopefully see you in September, or as close to September as we can do. So bye. Thanks for watching.
Bye. Thank you.